Directors. Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023, and we are at Pownell Elementary School. And we have just a couple of people missing. Susanna is not here tonight. Michelle is not here, obviously. That's why I'm running the meeting. And Maura should be here soon. So with that, we will get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and Piper, hi, welcome. All right. Okay, so we will move to number 4, consideration of minutes. And I have consideration approval of the minutes of March 15th, 2023, and March 22nd, 2023, as presented, barring any errors or omissions. Maddie and Colin? Oh, sorry. All right, all in favor? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, and welcome, Maura. So I'll toss it to Jean for adjustments to the agenda.
We have a few this evening. Under 8 reports from the superintendents, letter A, I have some additional resignations to announce. Under 14 personnel, we're going to add a letter D, consideration and approval to employ a kindergarten teacher at Moore Street School, and we're talking for the 2023-2024 school year. Letter E, consideration and approval to employ a 7th and 8th grade math teacher at Durham Community School and Freeport Middle School, 1 year only. Letter F, consideration and approval to employ a STEM teacher at Durham Community School. And letter G, consideration and approval to employ a 7th and 8th grade math teacher at Durham Community School. You can see we've been very busy trying to hire the best and the brightest for next school year. And those are all the adjustments.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so we will move on to good news and recognition, and we will start with Piper, the report from the student representative.
Thank you. I wanted to announce that prom was announced this week on it was announced this week, and it will take place on May 13th at the Falmouth Country Club from 7 to 10. Tickets are $50. Freeport Women's Club is sponsoring a large Freeport High School student art exhibition at the Freeport Community Library. So if you go to the library, you can see art from students. It's pretty cool. And the juniors took SATs today, so good luck to them. Freeport won the Donate Life Design Competition, so another art award. Congratulations to the cast of the Tinderbox on winning the main drama festival. And then the spring athletics season is starting up, so girls and boys tennis have their first match tomorrow versus Brunswick. Baseball has their season opener tomorrow at home versus Mount Ararat. Boys lacrosse plays region away tomorrow for their first game, and girls lacrosse will play Massabesic this Friday away to open their season.
Great, thank you so much. Yes, very exciting, the drama. They won states, right? That was the big excitement, so congratulations to them. Okay, so we'll move on to 6B, which is good news from Pownell Elementary, and we'll call Holly up to the podium.
So I'm glad to be here. Thank you. It was a great turnout, and thank you for some community members as well. Good to see faces. I thought rather than just talking, I wanted to do some showing. So I have a couple slides from some of our activities into the winter. Yeah, it's coming. All right, so on the stage behind the board, 2 weeks ago on March 30th, our 4th and 5th graders presented the musical, kind of a tradition every spring. This year, the musical that was chosen was Tales of the American Revolution, and it was perfect timing. I think there was some purposeful planning in that because this year both fourth and fifth grade classrooms studied the American Revolution as part of their reading and writing units of study. Traditionally, it's fifth grade only, but this year fourth grade also did. So it was a great combination of their reading and writing and research around this part of history, and then they got to apply it in the play. As I introduced the play that night, I warned the audience that there's going to be some facts, but there was also a lot of humor. It was a great opportunity to see the students shine, and I have one. We could have shared a lot, but so they did a great job presenting and really getting into the history. And then later this spring, the fourth and fifth are both traveling down to Boston to see more of those real sites and learn some more. So it's great. And last night, the school was very busy with our all-school share for this year's topic of simple machines. And each grade level had a different simple machine, and then fifth grade took on all of them. So over the past month and a half, students have been working kind of engineering, picking a topic, testing, and persevering, as things didn't always work out. And then last night got to show it off. During the day, we set up a museum walk so that students got to experience all of them. Really great turnout from the community. I think many classrooms had 100% of students and families show up last night, so it was great. So this is definitely fifth grade, showing off some of they studied Rube Goldberg and created some great opportunities to see things in action. This one watered a plant. There was another one that actually stapled. So some of them got the chain reaction, but some actually with a purpose at the end, so it was great. I think the stapler one was the hit. Even in preschool took on ramps, so they had different projects developed, and this is during the day when the students were visiting everyone's work. And this is third grade. They had pulleys, and again, many of these were done with a purpose, so the pulley was trying to create and do something, some form of work. And the last thing I'd like to share is that for each of our breaks, starting in Christmas for December, we've had a Monster Madness Reading Challenge. So before the challenge, each class makes a mascot. We had gourds left over from the fall, and each class chose a gourd and lots of other stuff that I assemble, and lots of hot glue, and they make a mascot. These are a few of them. And then in February, we used lots of Valentine Hardy type things. They're getting very sophisticated. And they're not all made yet. Tomorrow the last have to be assembled. So these are April's getting started. This one's preschool. We are kind of combining a little bit with, for April with, I can never remember it. I forget it. What do I want to remember? Earth Day. That doesn't want to come. I want to say April something. Earth Day, which has never happened before. I walk my road and collect extra plastic for Earth Day. And then this is kindergarten. So, I think it goes this way. Sorry. There you go. Yeah. Good day standing them up. This is from December to February, we had more students participating, which meant more reading, and then the amount of time being read, reading or being read to has increased as well. So it's great to see kids engaging with books and with families and enjoying it and having lots of fun. It's no longer called a reading challenge. It's called I'm Reading My Monster Minutes too. So that's been great. Any questions?
Maddie?
I hope this isn't, wow, it is loud. I have a fancy new microphone. I'm not sure why I'm so lucky, but boy, it's loud. What? Oh, wow. I love to see all the making of things with many parts. As part of the school tours at the high school and at the middle school, we got to see some of the Lego robotics stuff happening. I don't know if any of that is happening here as well, but even if it's not, like, this is a great introduction to fitting things together in the Rube Goldberg stuff?
So more of that is done in the actual STEM. So the whole school study was in addition to that, but our STEM teacher and some of the STEM time was used because of the topic this year. And we did get a district grant. And I know Pownell's was actually, we chose some of the robotic type things. So there's a lot of learning that has to go into that. We've got all the stuff for the grant, but the state is providing training, so definitely.
It just makes me happy to see it starting at the lowest level, because I know we've got I forget what it's called, GEMS, Women in STEM, or whatever the club is called. I know that we've got a great leader for that at the high school, so I'm happy to see those seeds being planted here.
Teachers, we've been doing the whole school study for several years, but the amount of hands-on learning and the building and constructing, design, and failure was a big part of it, but that's how you learn to go, I got to tilt it a different way, I got to use a different size ball, I need more weight. It was a really dynamic time for learning, and kids had a lot of fun too. So, we've been really trying to increase student agency, and this study really did that for sure. Yeah. So, thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Holly. All right, so we have come to our first public comment. Anybody would like to get up? Okay. So we'll move on, seeing as there's no one rushing to the mic. So reports from the superintendent.
Okay. Item A, we have some resignations this evening. These resignations are effective at the end of this school year. Stephanie Luia, school psychologist for the district. Garland Thayer, DCS 5th grade teacher. Diane Q, FHS English teacher. Alondra Reynolds, Moore Street School kindergarten teacher. James Flynn, Freeport High School science teacher. And Haley Poston, Freeport High School math teacher. Number 2, additional state subsidy. As you may have heard, in March, the Maine Department of Education discovered there was a calculation error in their preliminary assessments for the ED 279s. Their error resulted in the mill rate being reduced from 7.29 to 6.9. Because of this, RSU5 will receive an additional $242,266 in subsidy for next year. The good news for us is you did already approve your expenditure side of the budget, which is, the expenditure side is 4.99, but because of that additional subsidy, the actual impact to the taxpayers decreased in each town. Durham went to 2.66, Freeport 2.45, and Pownell 2.73. So that was news on the additional state subsidy. And those are all the items I have under my report this evening.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Okay. All right, we will move on. We don't have any administrator reports this evening, and so we'll go to the board comments and committee reports. I have one thing here that I'll start us off with. We are in need of board members to serve on hiring committees. We have several coming up. We have the Director of Facilities, the Director of Transportation, the Technology Director, and I think, so we have one that's signed up for athletic, but Colin, you were interested in that. Do we just need one board member on each one? Okay, so if anybody is interested, we have all the dates, so we can take a look at this, unless you want me to should I just read them off if anybody wants to sign up right now? Kelly.
Yeah, if you would read the dates, I can potentially
Okay,
sign
all
up
right, so we'll start with Director of Facilities. So the date would be Monday, April 24th from 4:30 to 6:30 at the central office. And that's just for the screening and training. And then also Monday, May 1st and Tuesday, May 2nd, depending on the number of candidates, from 4:30 to 8:30 both nights there. So, do you want me to keep going? It's okay. The next one, so Director of Transportation, would be Tuesday, April 25th, from 4:30 to 6:30 at the central office. And then the interviews would be scheduled Wednesday, May 3rd and Thursday, May 4th, between 4:30 and 8:30 p.m. And, okay. The technology director would be, we would need somebody on Tuesday, May 9th, from 4 to 6 p.m. And then Monday, May 15th, from 4 to 8 p.m. for the interviews. And I guess we're all set on the athletic director, because thank you, Colin. So if anybody has any availability or no, or striking out here. Okay, all right. So we'll put that out there and definitely just reach out to Jean if anybody is available and can volunteer for that. So thank you. All right. So we will move on to oh, sorry, Maddie. Yes, go ahead.
We can make other comments during this time too, right?
Yes, sorry.
No, it's all right. I just, today was our last of the opportunities to observe, God, it's so loud, in the schools. I think I was able to attend each school visit except for Pownell, sadly. Couldn't do that one. But I just wanted to, I think I say something like this every year, and I apologize for those of you who've heard me say it before, but I think it's really important to talk about how important an opportunity that is, and how much I appreciate it as a board member, getting into the schools and having a bird's eye seat to how our teachers work with our kids. I can't underscore enough how different it is from the way we were educated whenever we were in school, and even how different it is to see it versus what's reported to us when we have people come in and speak to us at a meeting. It's really, it's amazing what our teachers are doing. And I know that the teachers also really appreciate having us in there. I can't tell you how many times they say, come anytime. So I wanted to say thank you, Jean, because I know, it's your first year here, so I know that takes some coordination. Thank you to the principals, because I know that definitely takes some coordination to have us come in and disrupt the whole day. It's a really finely tuned machine, the way that this school day works. Every minute is slotted. But it's so important that we as board members have an opportunity to really see the impact of the decisions that we make here. Now, more than ever, I'm sure everyone is aware that school boards and public schools are in the crosshairs in our country. So the opportunity to see how it's working, how beautifully it's working, how amazing and selfless our teachers are, not just our teachers, our custodians, our bus drivers, everyone. We have a really amazing thing going in our district, and I'm super grateful, and just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you. Kelly?
Yeah, I'll just add to that, just as a first-time board member and having never done this before, I am struck by the level of intentionality and thought and care that goes into everything that happens in our schools. The amount of listening and, respect for each other. Everybody, I just see how everybody's listening to everybody else when there's a problem to be solved. It's a mutual, everybody works together to make things better all the time, and I really appreciate being able to see that firsthand.
Colin?
Yeah, I would just echo that again, and I think also to emphasize that while each of the principals have discretion of how they're going to, what they're going to use their time for, I know that last year there were some concerns raised at a meeting by a member of the public, by a parent, that the board then took up, and Principal Nickerson at Moore Street very quickly transitioned the sort of the 3-hour time that the board was going to visit to address the concerns that were raised. So again, I was just really gladdened by that also that sort of responsiveness. And again, that's not that is every visit will function in that way, but also just that it is an integrated and responsive experience. So again, I'll just emphasize the appreciation for everybody in making that possible.
Kara?
I'd like to echo what everyone has said. I attended all of the board learning opportunities in each of the schools, and also really, really impressed every day I would leave there, and grateful that I live in this school district and I'm part of the board here. And I found myself wanting to stay all day. So I would welcome more opportunities throughout the year whenever possible, and not even needing the principal to be leading it, but to be able to just go into the classrooms and observe additional times when possible.
All right. Anybody else? No? Okay. All right, now we will move on to the workplace satisfaction survey. And I'm guessing strategic communications is going to go with that? Okay, Candy?
Yes. Yes, the committee met and looked at the workplace satisfaction survey, which is the lime green thing in your packet. And the administrators have looked at this. It's had their input. And everyone, except administrators, will be getting this and responding to it. And there are many comment sections. The areas that it covers is the workplace climate, professional development, leadership, evaluation, support and education of students, and resources. Those are the things that the people who are filling it out will be looking at, all those areas with the opportunities to mark the little ovals and make comments. It will go out May 1st, and it will close on May 15th. There probably will not be results until the beginning of the school year, because there will be lots of comments to look at in code and that kind of thing. So at the beginning of the school year, it should go to administrators, and the board will see it again. The committee also looked at the yellow piece in your comment, in your packets, the migration of students. And as you can see, maybe 2022 is a hair better than the years before, but it's all pretty common. And the major areas have to do with homeschooling, some local private schools, local religious schools, and quite a few at Pine Tree Academy. But that's that. The other thing is, we will be proposing to take a look at the strategic plan in August. It's ready for it to be looked at and updated. And so we will be looking at that. Does anybody else on that committee want to add anything? And I guess one of the things in the strategic plan that we talked about there is trying to find ways to get more communication and community engagement. So that's that.
Matt?
I think just the only thing that I would add that makes this a little more cumbersome, the process for us to code it and get it back to you, is that there's a lot more opportunity for comments.
Yes.
But I think we felt that was important. You know, voice, student voice, staff voice is something we've clearly been focused on for a while now. And so just for anybody watching this who's going to have the opportunity to fill this out, please take that opportunity to, you know, we do read all the comments. So please be sure to use your voice to give us some thoughtful, helpful feedback. We would appreciate it.
How often does this survey go out? Does it go every year or every other year?
It goes every year. Every other year, okay. Couldn't remember.
Kara?
So I'll echo what Candy said about our next meeting. We'll be talking more about community engagement. So for anyone who is watching the meeting and who is here, thank you for being here and being engaged. And we would love your ideas for how to help engage other community members so that they can hear all of the really important things that we're discussing at these meetings. So any ideas that you have or suggestions, we would welcome hearing those. And the best method to encourage people to do that would be to send emails to the board. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Any questions? Colin?
Just a comment on the, just how helpful it is to receive the migration of students information. If I'm remembering correctly, I think we were considering not doing the breakdown last year. There was some conversation of doing something like that. We were not going to. Maybe not, but anyway, I'm really glad that we're still doing it.
I don't remember that,
Okay.
but that's okay.
We were talking about something of not itemizing it, and we then argued back that we should do it internally. Anyway, maybe not this, but this is still awesome to see this broken down in this way. And I'm not sure what the error bar really is on the percentages here, but it is, I don't know, I think it's great to see that we're at our, since 2015, at our lowest percentage of young people in the town attending other institutions, and I think particularly the information on homeschooled students, I think, is also a really important number for us to keep an eye on. I know we were looking at that last year and thinking about that in relation to COVID, in relation to some other sort of concerns that were arising out of that. So, thank you for this, and for never doubting that we should have this information.
Kelly?
Yeah, it looks to me like maybe during COVID, we lost a few students to private schools that could provide them parents with more consistent schedules, and those students are now, some of them anyway, migrating back into the public school system. So in a way, I feel like that's kind of a sign that we're doing something right. So.
Mara?
I recall what Colin was talking about, and I think it was intended to save Ginny time, and I don't remember specifically what we told her she could not do, but I'm sure she's watching, and maybe she remembers. So I just wanted to mention that. Maybe it was the separation by school, or maybe it's something that's time-consuming that she does. We had said she didn't have to do it anymore, but this is helpful. Thank you.
Maddie?
Yeah, I think she has to monitor this by like phone call. I think chasing down the data is very time-consuming. I think you're right.
So thank you, Jenny, for continuing to do that and not going on vacation.
Yes, we appreciate it, Jenny. Thank you. My thought with looking at the enrollment and the fact that our numbers are increasing, and obviously some of that has to do with the new Mainers that were kind of transplanted all at once, but it made me think back to our enrollment study. Does anybody remember 2 years ago? We did the enrollment study because we were concerned about the size of Moore Street School reaching its capacity. And now when I looked at this, let me see, I just got to pull it up because I had my numbers. That the enrollment study was really off as far as the numbers that we have right now. So let's see, I think the projection in the enrollment study for this year, you know what, oh, sorry, I'm not gonna look at the whole number. Now I just don't have my numbers all properly sorted. Sorry, Michelle. But there was definitely, I'll send it out to the board, but there's definitely much bigger increases than we would have thought. I know the one thing that I had noticed was that in the enrollment study, they projected out 5 years from 2 years ago, and they said even 5 years out, they never had us going over 2,000 for students. And here we are 2 years out, and we're at 2,066. So I think that it's just something that we really need to keep an eye on and talk about and check in maybe with Julie as things progress. So yes, Kelly.
Listening in on the Freeport town meetings, some of them, I've heard the same kinds of comments about housing in the area, that housing projections have been way, way higher than anybody anticipated even just a couple of years ago. So now we're seeing that reflected, obviously, in enrollment numbers that nobody predicted either. So yeah, I think
I just wanted to put it back on the table for people to be aware of and to keep an eye on, because I think the person that was really vocal about it was Vali, and she's not on the board anymore, so I was just wanting to take that up to make sure we keep an eye on things there. So, all right, any more questions? Maura?
I can try to remember to take over for Vali in that respect, if you want me to just keep reminding about that. Maybe the board could take this up next year, maybe have a session on
At
it.
talk about it at our retreat and maybe have it be a focus, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm wondering if we would want to consider having the enrollment study updated even, or, I mean, we were lucky in the regard that we got the COVID funding to do the portable, but that would have been quite expensive, and we would have needed that at Moore Street if we hadn't gotten it due to COVID, so, due to the enrollment. So, I think, yeah, maybe thinking about that would be great. Thanks for bringing it up.
And I guess the other thing that made me think about it is the fact that these, the students attending other schools, the number has decreased and that our number is increasing, and that if those, I know it probably would never happen, that those 392 students that are attending other schools would all come back at once, but, you know, we have to, I feel like we would have to be really prepared for increases in the next couple of years, so, okay. All right, so we will move on, unless there's any other questions or comments. Okay. All right, so we have no policy review. All right, so we are on to the number 12, unfinished business. And this is the consideration and approval that the vote entitled, "Vote to Call and Approve the Warrants for the Budget Meeting and the Budget Validation Referendum, and to authorize the notice of amounts adopted, be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that a copy of said vote be included with the minutes of this meeting." I have a motion for, oh, thank you, for a second, Maura and Maddie. Do we have any discussion?
So this is the first time seeing of this. What is this?
Just raise your hand and push your mic on. Ben?
This just came in the packet this evening. What is this and what are we?
This is something that, the packet this evening? No, it was sent out in your packet at home. It is basically we adopted the budget at the last meeting, and now we are taking the vote. I'm going to defer to Jean because she probably has a little bit more experience.
And at this point, what you're doing is you're really, the board is saying we're going to call the town meeting, the 3-town meeting. That's going to be in May, where the citizens will actually go through all those articles that are in the packet, and they will vote on those. And so this is really the formalized legal process of doing that. And then after the board votes, the warrants will be posted in each town. And there's a time will be actually done tomorrow so that we can have that town meeting in May. And that's the first step for this. And we know that there's also a budget vote referendum in June. So it's a 2-step process, and this gets us on that process.
Okay, so this is the motion that we're going to vote to call and approve the warrant, the budget meeting. Any other questions? Okay. So we have a first and a second, so all those in favor? None opposed. Thank you. All right, we have no new business, so we'll move on to personnel. And we have a lot here. So we'll start with, if I can have a motion for consideration and approval to employ a Director of Finance and Human Resources for the 2023-2024 school year. Maddie, a second. Kelly, thank you. And I will toss it to Jean to explain.
Okay. I present before the board this evening Ms. Kelly Wentworth, who is a name that's very familiar to many of us at the table. Kelly expresses her sincere apologies for not being here for us this evening, but she is at her own board meeting in Brunswick this evening. Kelly has an associate's degree in business administration accounting from the University of New England. Relevant experience, she has been right here in the town of Pownell years ago as an administrative assistant, treasurer, tax collector, town clerk, and general assistance director. She worked for RSU5 as the director of finance and human resources for many years before going to the Brunswick Stoller Away for a bit, the director of finance in the Brunswick School Department. References describe Kelly as a systems thinker, knowledgeable, flexible, responsive, thorough, timely, and trustworthy. So I present Kelly to return home to RSU5.
Maddie?
Welcome back.
Mara?
Does Kelly do Region 10's finances? Is she the one who works with the Region 10 board?
She helps with the Region 10.
Okay, because I think I met her when I was on the Region 10 board, and she is fantastic. And I was going to say, I'm sorry that we stole her from Brunswick, but it seems like it's fair play to get her back. So I'm I'm really glad that that she wants to come back to RSU5.
Ben?
So have the monies for these been procured already? For all of these different?
It would be for next school year, for the July 1, starting to July 1 fiscal year.
Okay.
And it's all of those are already included. These aren't new positions, they're positions that are vacant, will be vacant July 1.
I see. Okay, thank you.
And the money is in the budget for those positions, correct? Yes. All right. Any other questions? Okay, well, all those in favor? Great, none opposed. Thank you. Welcome, Kelly. All right. So the next we have consideration and approval to employ a first grade teacher at Moore Street School for the 2023-2024 school year. Kelly, Mara, thank you. And Jean?
All right, back to me. I present to you this evening Abigail Hunt. Abigail has a BS in elementary education with a concentration in language arts from UMF. Relevant experience is she's a kindergarten teacher at Halldale Elementary School in Halldale. References describe Abigail as connected with children, positive, flexible, reflective, and a natural teacher.
That's great, thank you. Have any questions for Jean? All right. All those in favor? Great, none opposed. Welcome, Abigail. All right, so 14C, we are for consideration and approval to employ a 7th, 8th grade humanities teacher at Durham Community School for the 2023-2024 school year. Mara and Maddie, thank you.
I present to you Paige Brown. Paige has a BS in secondary education social studies from the University of Maine at Farmington. Relevant experience, she's a social studies teacher at Mount Blue High School in Farmington. References describe Paige as respected, passionate, energetic, creative, motivational, and relentlessly optimistic.
Great, thank you. Any questions? All right, all those in favor? Great, none opposed, thank you. Okay, so we are on to D. Where's my, oh, there it is, my extra. Consideration and approval to employ a kindergarten teacher at Moore Street School for the 2023-2024 school year. Maddie, Mara, thank you.
So I present Claire Bowen. Claire has a BS in elementary education with a concentration in child development and family relationships from the University of Maine. She will have a certification at K-8 General Elementary. She's currently finishing her field experience in a transitional grade 1 classroom in Old Town Elementary School. References describe Claire as patient, kind, reliable, approachable, collaborative, and willing to go the extra mile.
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you very much. None opposed. Okay, so we're on to E. We have a lot of these, don't we? Consideration and approval to employ a 7th and 8th grade math teacher at Durham Community School and Freeport Community School for the 2023-2024 school year, a 1-year position. Maddie, Mara, thank you.
Here's what I found.
So I present Mr. Frank Burns. Frank has a BA Mathematics from Western New England University in Springfield, Mass. and he has 7 to 12 mathematics certification. Relevant experience, he's been a math lab teacher at Tripp Middle School in Turner. He was a Math 1-2 teacher at Moore Square Museum's Magnet Middle School in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's been a secondary math teacher at Western Maine Remote Academy in Dixfield, Maine, and currently is a secondary math teacher at the Maine Coast Waldorf School here in Freeport. References describe Frank as knowledgeable, dedicated, creative, a team player, thoughtful, and having a willingness to help all learners achieve their goals.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor? None opposed? So we are on to F, consideration and approval to employ a STEM teacher at Durham Community School for the 2023-2024 school year. Maddie and Maura, thank you.
I present to you Mr. Sean Moore. Sean has his associate's degree in liberal studies from Central Maine Community College, a BA in Arts and Humanities from the University of Southern Maine, and a master's in teaching and learning from the University of Southern Maine. Sean holds K-8 general elementary certification. Relevant experience includes grades 1 and 2 at Elm Street School in Mechanic Falls, grade 1 at Hollis Elementary School in Hollis, Maine, kindergarten in grade 1 at Jameson Elementary School in Old Orchard Beach, kindergarten teacher at Lisbon Community School, and he's currently a literacy specialist at Lyman Elementary School. References describe Sean as data-driven, having a wonderful rapport with students, staff, and parents, engaging, having a keen sense of humor, dependable, honest, and a team player.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor? None opposed. Thank you. All right, last one. G, consideration and approval to employ a 7th and 8th grade math teacher at Durham Community School for the 2023-2024 school year. Mara and Maddie.
All right, and our final one this evening is Alicia Ricker. Alicia has a BS in elementary education from the University of Maine at Farmington, a master's in education from the University of New England, and holds K-8 general elementary certification. Relevant experience include grade 7th, 8th math teacher at Lewiston Middle School and grade 7, 8 expeditionary learning facilitator at Lewiston Middle School. References describe Alicia as impactful with students, utilizing sound pedagogical principles, creating a welcoming and nurturing environment for every student, and having unwavering advocacy for students.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor? None opposed. Thank you very much. Welcome to all our new wonderful people. That's fantastic. All right. So we are back to our second public comment period. If there's anybody that would like to give a public comment, you can go to the podium. Looks like no? Okay. So, and before we take a motion to adjourn, I just want to remind all of our board members that we need to sign the warrants over there correctly, and that we all need to make sure we sign in the same place on every paper, correct? Oh.
With the
Oh,
pens
yes,
that
and-
Peggy give you, you have to sign in a certain color, so Peggy will hand you a pen, and you need to sign on the same line every time, please.
And I also would like to remind our board members to bring home the manila folder that is in your purple folder, as this is the evaluation that we will fill out for the superintendent. And just keep this in your home confidential, and we will return the confidential papers when we come back and meet in executive session. So. Oh, yes, and put your salmon-colored papers back in the purple as well, as those are confidential. Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right, I would take a motion to adjourn. Kelly, Maddie, all those in favor? Adjourn, thank you.